Hey you guys, I'm Marlena Wolf with Guidance for Growers, and we help empower families to grow food successfully. And today I wanted to get on here and talk to you guys about what vegetable plants need to be started indoors and transplanted out versus which ones can just be directly sown outdoors, and how to do this using the products in your own home. So things from the recycle bin, that sort of thing. But before we get into that, I want to talk about some basic considerations that you need to think about for your home garden. And one is sunlight. So think about your space, indoor or outdoor. If you want to start plants indoor successfully, with the highest probability of them living and maturing to a plant that you can then eat, you need at least 6 to 8 hours of direct sunshine coming through your window. Coming through the window so that the sun is on your hands, right? It's not just outside of the window, it actually shines in. Yes, so that's a consideration for indoor starting. And then outdoor, it's kind of the same thing. If you have a space, most vegetables need 6 to 8 hours, and that's considered full sun. However, some can deal with just 4 to 6. So watch your sun on a sunny day, watch your space outside and in the home, and see which windows are best, and see the lay of the land that you have and where the sun travels, where there's less shaded areas and that sort of thing, because you don't really want to be near trees or big structures that are going to shade out your space. So be looking for that stuff. Follow your sun. That's a good place to start. And then I want to talk about getting started growing indoors. So you can purchase seeds and starting trays from your local nursery or Lowe's or whatever is nearby. Maybe a Walmart is near you. Or you could order stuff online, or you can use what's in your house. So check this out. Check it out. Let me just say this first. What's important in starting seeds indoors is airflow. So you need to puncture holes in the bottoms of things, sunlight, a growing medium, some sort of light, sterile potting mix, and seeds, yeah. So check this out. Clamshell, these were strawberry and blueberry containers. They're called clamshell containers. And they already have holes in them, right? So I don't need to poke any holes in them. And there's a cap which will create a greenhouse-like effect indoors. And you can start several seeds in here depending on what you want to grow. You can probably start 6 cucumber seeds in here, something like that, You can start several spinach seeds, like 30 or something, maybe 15. And so what you want to do is just fill it up with a soil. Put your seeds in, make sure the soil's moist, and you can water it or get it wet first, and then shut the cap. And most seeds like to germinate in the dark, but once they sprout, once they start to emerge, they need to get into that sunny spot we talked about. So this is just one example. I've got egg cartons. This is an 18 pack. We go big in our house. You want to poke holes in the bottom. Again, you've got the greenhouse effect on top, so that's good. You want moisture. Your seeds won't germinate if they don't have a moist, warm environment. So try to be sure you put them somewhere warm. I've got the cardboard egg cartons, which I've already poked holes in. I've cut the cap off because this doesn't really create a greenhouse environment, which is where our plastic wrap, basic cling wrap, comes into play. You want to wrap the top and bottom after you fill it with soil and seeds. That way it does create like an enclosed environment. And the thing about the cardboard egg cartons, as well as the store-bought cardboard, is that they absorb mass amounts of water, so that your soils have a tendency to dry out quicker. So you have to stay on them and make sure that you are watering them more frequently. And that's where wrapping them in plastic also comes in handy. Okay, so there's those options. And check this out. You're gonna like this. So I have a baby, and she goes through a lot of baby food. These are baby food cartons, little containers, okay? So you just want to poke holes in them, and I've already like, this had salad mix in it, right? That I bought. And so I just line these up for easy transport. You poke holes in them, put dirt in them, put your seeds in them, right? And then there was a plastic container that came with this, so I have that to cover them up. Look at this. This is a toy. This came with Christmas, and it had my daughter's like doctor kit in it, and then it like the plastic cover came off and broke. But look, it doesn't matter what you use, is what I'm trying to say. As long as it's gonna contain your dirt and it's gonna allow airflow and ventilation and moisture to kind of like flow through it, it doesn't matter. I could directly fill this whole thing up with dirt and plant, I would probably do bigger things in this, like cucumbers, plant, squash, zucchini, watermelon, cantaloupe, and then later transplant that out. But this will give them plenty of room. They're fast germinators, they're fast growing plants. And so you don't really want to start them in something tiny, because you're going to have to transplant that into a bigger tray or into a bigger container and then put it outside. So, but you kind of just have to make do with what you have too. So keep that in mind. Look at this. You can totally plant in this. It's porous. It's already got holes in it. It's going to break down anyway. We're not using it for anything. Fill this sucker up with dirt. And you can plant radishes in here, beets, baby tiny carrots, lettuces. You know, you can leave those in here until they mature. But if you wanted to like transplant them out later, you could do broccoli or cabbage or cauliflower. You could even start your peppers, tomatoes, eggplants in here. Any of the stuff I'm talking about, you can start in these containers. I mean, all the list that I just gave, you can start in these containers. Look at this milk carton. Look how big that is. You could start potatoes in here. Potatoes need room. You could totally start potatoes in this container. You might not even need to transplant it out. I tell you what, if you did potatoes in this container, I would have made it a little bigger. Like, I just cut it in half, you know? Whatever, as long as it's something that will contain your dirt. I mean, these are like old from some flowers that I grew before. You can plant some bigger stuff in here. That way you don't have to transplant it as soon. This is like a ham container. Okay, I think you get my point, friends. So, yes, all right. And in a little while, I'm going to go down and show you guys what my operation looks like, and it is gorgeous, and show you how I'm actually using this stuff, starting my own seeds. Okay, so let's talk quick about potting mixes. I have some right here. And what I have done, you know, I mean, you can buy like a $7 thing of mix at your local nursery place. And what I've done is I've taken one of these old totes that I used to store clothes in, and I filled it up with my potting soil, my potting mix. It's a mix. When you start seeds inside, you need a lightweight mix that contains like perlite and peat moss, something that's sterile and super lightweight, because that's what your seedlings need to emerge the best, as opposed to like a heavy topsoil or, you know, even outside. That's why the elements outdoors for a seedling can be a little more tricky. So some are not recommended to grow out there. Some are recommended to start inside, and we'll talk about those in just a second. So yeah, that's all I wanted to show you on that. Okay, so let's talk about what needs to start indoors versus outdoors. So I'm just going to keep this like super simple for you guys, because there are some that you can do either. So what you want to start indoors, you definitely need to start indoors. Lettuce seeds, okay, that's actually both. You can actually do both of those. You could do like salad mixes outside where they're going to be like baby, but I would recommend doing lettuce heads indoors. Well, and you could do salad baby mixes indoors too, but not vice versa, if you know what I'm saying. So yeah, lettuce heads, not really outside so much to start. So they need to start inside. Anything in the brassica family, which is like the broccoli, cabbage, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, kales, that is all best started inside if you want like a whole mature plant. If you want to do like baby kale, you can broadcast those directly outside. Peppers, tomatoes, and eggplants, the solanaceous family, those need to be started indoors. Best started indoors, you know, that way you can start them before their frost dates in your area, and then they'll be big enough to transplant out when it's safe to plant them, because some things are cool season and others are warm season, and those three that I just named, the eggplant, pepper, and tomato, are warm season. They can't go out. You got to check your hardiness zone and whatever like area you're in. I'm in Louisville, Kentucky. I'm in like zone A, which is right on the border of zone 6A, excuse me. And so, yeah, you just gotta check that out, what your last average spring frost date is in the area to determine when you can safely transplant things out or get things started outside. Okay, back to the point. Transplants. Also, you can transplant cucumbers, zucchini, squash, melons, pumpkins, winter squash, summer squash. However, those can be directly sown outdoors as well. All right, so that's pretty simple. And then things that need to be directly sown are potatoes, because you literally take a whole potato and you cut it up with where the eye of the potato is, and then you plant them in sections. That's directly seeding potatoes. It's a little harder to do it just maybe from the potatoes you found at the grocery store. I'm not sure if they're like suitable for the zone you're in, but you can totally try. Might as well. They get eyes on them, we know that, so that could be cool. Zucchini, squash, melons, cucumbers, all those do grow directly outdoors as well. You can plant those, you can start those inside to get a jump start on the season, or you can directly sow them outside. Doesn't matter, either way. Carrots, beets, onions, spinach, radishes, and peas, those can all be directly sown outdoors. So I hope this was helpful, and I want you guys to come and see my indoor space before I let you go. So you're gonna come with me now. Hopefully we get there in one piece. So the home that I'm in, unfortunately, does not have any like windows in which I get direct sun for the 6 to 8 hours that we talked about. So I borrowed a grow light from my dad, who also has a green thumb, and I have this setup. So this is my grow light, and these are my plants. So these are cucumbers. This is a hummus container. Love me some hummus, love me some bean dip. These are tomatoes, and this is a yogurt container. Clamshell strawberry container. These are actual like containers that you can buy for gardening, but look how many of these recyclables I have. Look, I've got 6, 7 plus these little guys. So I started these from seed down here, and then I've pulled some out as they've gotten larger into the bigger container so that it has more room. See? I've got 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 total of those. You can see the egg carton back there. Those are cucumbers. Now I've got more tomatoes here. Okay, and then these are the eggshell cartons I was telling you about that are cardboard, in which I've created the greenhouse effect on them. I label them. You want to label what they are and what date you sowed the seed on them. Look, you can see them starting to emerge. Isn't that awesome? Boom, boom. And so when do you transplant them outside? There's 2 ways to kind of make that decision. One way is that it's safe to do so, it's safe to do so based on your frost date in your area. Google zone, hardiness zone or planting zone, and it will come up for your zip code. And then also once the plant has developed its true leaves. So when a seed sprouts. It has the seed leaves on it, the cotyledon seeds. And then as it grows and matures, it develops its true leaves. And at that point, it's actually safe to transplant outside. So let me show you what I'm talking about. These are the seed leaves of a cucumber. And the seed leaves are still on this cucumber plant, but now the true leaves have come through too. See? There's the first set, and there's your second set. See over here? First set, and then the little second set's coming in. This is much bigger, but you can tell that the plant is at a different stage once it gets those second leaves. And that's the same for tomatoes. I don't have any tomatoes right now that don't have the true leaves on there, but you can see where they started. These are the seed leaves right here, the little flat ones kind of, and the true leaves are the more rigid, rippled ones. Yeah, and then as the plant gets bigger, the seed leaves, excuse me, are kind of the smaller first set of leaves, and then the true leaves come through later. So these are ready to go out, but it's still too cold yet in my area, so I'm not going to take that chance because they could freeze and I don't want to lose them. So I hope this was helpful. I'm so glad to have been invited to share this information with you. If you need any more help, I'm at guidanceforgrowers.com. You can email me at guidanceforgrowers@gmail.com. And I look forward to a awesome growing season. Thanks.